the Senate.
You tell me if you're pleased with the turnout today.
Oh, I'm ecstatic with the turnout. There's so many more people than we ever expected to have. It's at least.
Hello, and welcome. Hello, and welcome to the Plural Nouns of February. I am joined by Holly Shagnon and Emer Pondfini, and we will be joined by Megan O'Rourke, and I'm Selene Colburn. And what we're going to do over the next hour is I'm going to read some writing to you, and then we are going to move about a little bit and improvise, and then we're going to talk about it. So, I'm reading work from a project that is derived from some of my personal archives, including a journal that I kept in 2020, a diary that I've been keeping this year in 2025, and some letters that I wrote to my dear friend Rachel when I was in my teens and 20s, back in the 80s and 90s. So I'm going to start with a piece of writing called Bodies. Bodies. In mid-February, the year is 2020. There is a woman, and a woman keeps a diary. A message in a bottle, a furious archive of resistance from a spiral, bound. To her future self, 3 round holes into the woods, a trail. The dictator we will call Orontius, to be visited at a later date. Once, when your future self did some of the ancestor work that your future self was encouraged to do, she thought the ancestral guide that would come to her through meditation would be a hardened Nordic mother, stoic and cold and possibly a seer. Instead, she saw a lean, short-haired girl, crouched in the woods, ready to spring, a metallic hum running through their nerves like a motor. Today begins an integration. She writes to me now, this woman from the past. In February, she begins, this diary like a map. There is a piece of notebook paper in the pile, a future book, proof that she either lived or died. If she could make her mouth growl like that, she would never stop talking. Vertical line of frayed teeth. And your future self thought, I remember you not that long ago. In this lifetime, when I was younger, so many lifetimes ago, you were me. That date, dear fascism, is today. 2025, chronological. Pages, politics, primaries, rocks, breadcrumbs, woods, fights, words, people, woods, candles, woods, bitter greens, tariffs, hours, affairs, obsessions, woods, dreams, thoughts, ruminations, times, news, pursuits, Palestinians, armies, mind flayers, scientists, times, stages, news, nerves, blocks, woods, hills, nerves, days, turns, nerves, ancient cotton balls, noodles, bouts, piles, messages, rights, agencies, departments, heaps of gold, coups, wars, pogroms, weeks, tests, scans, developments, difficulties, nerves, hormones, peaks, visions, peaks, secrets, things, peaks, news, drawings, bowels, feet, twinges, bones, pages, hours, nerves, woods, things, stories, groups, belongings, resources, friends, things, connections, exercises, Pilates, walks, snowshoes, feet, skis, trails, pillows, blankets, morning pages, bits, babes, landscapers, explosions, pleasures, peaks. This next section is called Ancient Cotton Balls. Ancient cotton balls. How it feels this time around. She loses track, wakes up congested, goes back to bed, gets up, goes back to bed, wakes up cold, too hot, spikes a fever. When she was young and roamed the streets, she had a sticker on her black leather jacket that said free tampons or bloodshed, except when it aches and stings. Meanwhile, she is still emitting a steady stream of dark, sludgy blood, has a nosebleed, runs out of menstrual hygiene supplies. It must be her second or third week of bleeding now. Searing bouts of heavy chest, sinus pain, head stuffed with ancient cotton balls, sore, dry throat like an old husk of corn, a hunk of old, torn cardboard, a clot of sawdust. Now a raggedy cough consumes me. She tells herself that the heroine in the book she is imagining writing will be a perimenopausal woman who bleeds through her clothes. And as she tells herself this, she bleeds through her clothes. Body like limp, rubbery noodles. My brain is too soft to ruminate, I write, my friends. A calming stupidity, really. Seconds. She listens, writing a book about a small device. Twins watching. Snippet of a scream, a home sauna, the sound of clapping. Very cold, very sunny, fairly snowy. Cymbals crashing, bitter greens, inspirational speech, swelling orchestral chorus. Lit candles in every room. Nothing lasts longer than 10 seconds. I let myself be enchanted. (2020) chronological. Habits, years, lights, twinkly lights, outfitters, walkways, corners, parties, colleges, breakfast joints, hipsters, giant bowls, potatoes, hands, books, deficiencies, wars, habits, phones, hours, furies, sentences, people, courts, things, essays, delights, menstrual hygiene supplies, streets, tampons, charms, ads, feeds, videos, symbols, singers, seconds, performances, sessions, parents, guns, victims, purples, lines, parks, women, men, words, sex workers, victims, solutions, feds, wins, habits, people, efficiencies, infractions, years, jobs, backs, minutes, clothes, knives, parts, governments, sentences, aspects, multitudes, habits, tendencies, supplements, things, actions, meetings, hours, emails, days, accounts, debates, posts, members, moderates, days, contributions, habits, skills, squids, legislatures, ovaries, hours, assignments, documentaries, books, squids, kraken, eels, octopi, coral reefs, slices. Assignments. This woman who is contemplating coral reefs, eels, octopi, and free squids, kraken, these things will occur submerged underwater. She gives herself assignments. Write about what you see. No way to know how it will turn out. Watch underwater ocean documentaries, A Communicator on the Nautilus Live, The Little Mermaid. So maybe she thinks Orontius empowered a secret undercover ultimate weapon, a woman very like herself, but not herself, to be unleashed in all the state legislatures. What she will write about maybe is this: giant squids, 50 of them in total, so the feds can declare a state of emergency and enact martial law. Out of the corner of her eye, she spots a tentacle. Nerves. She was a woman working, a torturous project. Take no notice of me, a diary of sorts, the state's governing bodies. Nerves. Am I repeating myself? Her body of research and latest studies. She was in need of a morning writing practice. She was surrounded by bodies. Nerves just firing away, churning cortisol, raw and open and zinging, shattered, buzzing, shoulders, icy blocks of clay. All the time, I will spend the fall of empire searching for just the right turns of phrase. Reading Babbitt's Slow Days, Fast Company, a line about a restaurateur filling in as a waitress, which turns her into a hummingbird of naked nerve endings, page 85. The body creeps along. I'm just a cog in your stupid wheel, so body, why not feel soft? She began every morning to write. Mornings, bones, pages, twinges, woods, hours, things. Anyway, nerves, all the time. I can often feel my blankets. Words. Dear Rachel, circa 1987. I wrote many words again and again. I find the whole project embarrassing, banal. It must have taken some time. This is also touching. Dear Rachel, not dated. On the page, no one thing is ever any one thing. Both, but, and. Can we banish any word? Each line of text, it is and. A line for each repeating appellation, it is but. But really, it is both. Dear Rachel, circa 1987. The words themselves, disembodied white, unclassifiable indigo, violet black, fire hydrant red, Folgers coffee ground brown, grassy green, smudged gray, pine forest green, faded pink, vanishing yellow. Royal blue flashes the sign. Two separated fingers pointing up, up, up. I'm just going to make sure I didn't miss anything here. Dear Rachel, circa 1987. Hope, 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 wish, 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 promise, 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 dark, 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 dance, 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 floral, 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 mornings, 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 brighter, 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 think, 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 point, 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 inspiration, 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 yes, 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 color, 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 love. Love, 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 need, 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 desire. Desire, 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 desire. Desire, 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 people, 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 win, 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 piano. Piano, 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 night. Night, 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 innocence, 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 shadow, 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 smile, 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 moonlight, 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 moonlight. Pictures, 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 sphinx, 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 slice, 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 difference, 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 life, 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 last, 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 soul, 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 who, and who was the me who wrote you these words?
scans.
Fights. Knives. Explosions. Difficulties. Slices.
Fights.
Jobs.
Accounts.
Groups. Turns, emails, peaks, essays, woods, feeds, visions, seconds, furies, pogroms, hills, parts, hours, habits, hours, habits, trails, eels,
Difficulties. Debates.
rocks, books, rocks, books, woods, courts, Delights. Close. Essays.
Bits.
Turns. Belongings. Women. Secrets.
Explosions. Assignments. Obsessions. Messages. Governments.
Connections.
talk about it?
Need the mic?
Yeah, you're going to facilitate us, right? Yeah.
Well,
Should we move over
Cut. and cut. And yeah, let's move over here. Is that okay, Ollie? Two to a chair. Come squeeze in,
Yeah, that's good.
and I'll hand you the mic.
Okay, you're still wearing.
Can we introduce ourselves?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Get rid of this little mess.
So we're here. We're still in the CCTV studios, and we got some audience members. Hi, Amy and James. Welcome. And who's your partner, Holly? David. That's right. Hi, David. And thank you, Ali. And Miles is back there, and Travis is clearing the set. I don't know, Fraj, if you want to show Travis clearing the set on Studio A. Cool. Thank you.
Thank you, Travis.
Tell us, introduce yourselves.
My name is Emer Ponfini.
I'm Selene Colburn.
I'm Holly Shagnon.
And I'm Megan O'Rourke. And thanks, Selena, for organizing this and bringing us together. What did we just do? Well, let me just say, while you're thinking about that, Selena met with me probably about a month ago, and she brought in, I met her at Faux Hung for dinner, and she brought in a box that was all taped up, and it had a picture on the front. And it was prepared, and we had dinner, and we just caught up because we've known each other since we were in high school. And I dragged her off to Florida against her will to get a sunburn. I was just reading my journal the other day about that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Amazing.
And then Selena pulls out this box after dinner, and she cuts it open, and I said, and she pulls out these scraps from her journals that have been shredded since she started a journal in 2020, and I said, God, this makes me incredibly uncomfortable. That was what I felt. I felt like deeply uncomfortable. So what's happening?
Yeah, well, similarly, Emer and I are in a writing group together, and when I brought an earlier installation of this project to the writing group, I wrote an email trying to describe all the methodology and process to it, and the writing group was like, we really like the writing that you shared, but don't ever describe this to people like that again. So I'm a little scared to say what it is, but it's a serial interdisciplinary, this is part of a serial interdisciplinary work in progress that draws on my past and current practices as a writer, as an archivist, as a choreographer and dance improviser, and a little bit as an activist too. And so the way the project has been going so far is that I've been working primarily with two journals, one that I started in February of 2020 and one that I've been keeping this year, and then I am working kind of month by month backwards through that material to create something that takes writing as its kind of core practice, but that plays around with performance and this notion of archiving and recording. And so the first installation, which I'm kind of just finishing up, is an artist book for the month of January that is what you saw a prototype of, and that Emer has seen and responded to. And then this, I think of what we just did as a rough draft for what I think will be a broadside or poster art that sort of takes some of that script and kind of reworks it and refines it and presents it in that format, and then this will kind of live in the archives of CCTV, which is like so exciting to me, and you should give to CCTV. It's a live telethon, give them some money, because they do incredible work archiving our collective story in this community. But it will also live in the footnote of that broadside as a citation. So a lot of the writing I've been doing has been playing with my practice as a librarian and archivist and using like bibliographic forms like citations and indexes and stuff. So that's what we just did. We kind of did a rough draft live performance of a piece of writing for footnote.
Cool. Emer or Holly, do you want to say anything about being in that piece? You came to this. Selena said, "Hey, do you want to?"
Sure. I'll start, and you want to take over. Well, first of all, I just want to acknowledge that all four of us have known each other for 40 years, some odd, and I think that's really what's interesting about the connections is the working and reworking of performance and community-oriented activities and language of some different kinds, and just that we keep we're in the same soup over and over again in our community doing that, and I felt that in this moment suddenly, this like, oh my gosh, we are all 50s-ish and doing this work still, and that was really cool to me, and to be doing it for CCTV's Telethon, which has also been around as long as we've been around, is incredible too. And also,
not to make too light of it, but the connection to Jim Rader.
Yes, my stepdad. Yes,
videographer here until had recorded. Yeah.
Yes,
that's kind of fun.
Yeah, and I can remember being on CCTV bits when I was like 11. I mean, really, it's a long-standing community television network, and. In the moment, though, I was kind of experiencing the tensions between as I was doing this, I was thinking about how it was both precious, the words were precious, the clothing was precious, but also not precious, and not, just like our daily lives are precious and mundane at the same time. And I was feeling that interesting tension in the words and in the movements we were doing. And I was also just thinking about how, in the writing group that we're in together, getting to witness Selena's working process, which is so bizarre and nonlinear, but also inspirational, because there's this quality of like whatever happens is the thing that was intending to happen, and that there's like weird clues in your own writing to the arbitrariness of the work that you're going to do, and you're just creating these unusual structures and then imposing them and reimposing them and teasing things out. I find it a very fascinating and inspiring process that, even though I wouldn't necessarily engage in it exactly the same way as a creator, I would definitely take things from it. And I appreciate that, being exposed to that.
Hello. Well, I'm always a little slower to process stuff, or like at least verbally, right? So for me, I can say off the top of my head some thoughts, but I'm sure I'll have plenty more later on, because I'm always like a little slower to for me to verbalize. Speaking of verbalizing, when you said, "Oh, we can," you can say some words, and I was like, "Who's gonna be the first one to say something?" It was you, and it was me, because I'm most nervous about that. So for me, I was like, "Just get it over with, get it going, get it going with," because I'm always I'm totally, most of the time, very comfortable physically with my body, in front of others. But speaking for me is way more nerve-wracking for me. I don't know. Yeah. So anyway, so that was interesting. Always to have that challenge. And so when I saw that was in the prompts and whatever, I was like, okay, good. We're gonna do that. That's great. And that's also totally expected from Selena. I was like, there will be some verbalization. There'll be some, which I love about your work. Yeah, and like and a lot of what Emer said, I could reiterate as well. Like we have all this history, physically and otherwise, so that was very comforting. And yeah, and I love just improvising to see what's going to happen because it's never the same. Yeah.
So my literal mind, even though I'm comfortable doing nothing, my literal mind is going, why, Selena, why? You know, you're a library scientist, archivist, activist, work with the Vermont Domestic Network. You care deeply. You are oftentimes a moral compass that I'll turn to and say, what way is the wind blowing and which way is Selena's sail going? Like, so what are you hoping people feel? What are you hoping to unearth? Why are you doing this?
I think I am first and foremost doing it because it gives me pleasure. And I feel like it's really important to, we reclaiming the things that give us pleasure is like a really important form of resistance, I think, in the current moment. The generative community building things that give us pleasure. And yeah, I feel so like I have always struggled with the connection between art and politics, and I think that might be a little bit underneath the question that you're asking me. It's like, what does this have to do with anything in this moment? And I'm not sure I know the answer, but like the archivist in me, that's why there's a contemporaneous diary that's part of this, and also a diary that is from the first year of COVID. And I feel really compelled to like leave a record and so the earlier first installment piece that Emer read is like really addresses fascism pretty directly. There's a whole kind of essay section of that just says Dear Rights basically is like this almost epistolary form, writing to fascism, that's a diary practice for me. I write diary pages in the morning sometimes that start Dear Fascism, and then I just free write from there. And so yeah, I think I want to make a record of what it's like to be alive in this moment, in the moment, and then continue to try to make sense of it. So I think of what I'm doing now as like a very much a serial work in progress that I'll probably continue to revise and refine what comes out of it later. But right now I'm just like bringing everything I know, trying to see what it means to bring everything I know into one form that leaves a trace, I think, and definitely try to, this is a little more abstract, I think, but a lot of the writing that I'm doing is trying to get more explicit about resistance and articulating that and expressing it. I don't know. I don't feel like that's a very good answer, but.
No, I think, I think that's like the archives are about, leaving a trace. But they're also more than that. They're also inviting people to look, compare, contrast, recreate. And it's interesting we say like I feel like you and I have had a journey, the Political Knitters Project. So I don't know when that was, when we started the Political Knitters Project. And at that time I was just like, that pleasure piece, I just want to surround myself with knitted fabrics. And we were starting to create the Political Knitters Project, which was just a study group. And then till you and Rachel basically launched VARF, the Vermont Access to Reproductive Freedom. And I watched you all just like like, oh wow, look at that, they're organizers, like and how sometimes that pleasure can take off into something.
Yeah, I always like love to say that Vermont Access to Reproductive Freedom, which props to the people who are keeping that going. It's amazing organization, and that have very little involvement with at this point, has like its own life cycle, which I think is really cool. But I do always like to say that Vermont Access to Reproductive Freedom started as a splinter group of a political knitting group. a knitting reading group. I wonder if, Holly, you're a performer on the regular. Do you still perform with the Smittens? Music?
In a while. We have not performed in several years now, but we haven't broken up or anything. We just life and other things, and yeah. So.
What about the pleasure piece? The performance as pleasure, which is odd for not my.
Yeah. Well, for me, so in the Smittens, I play drums. I don't sing. Again, not my verbal. It's not my favorite. I mean, I like to sing, but I'm a little shy about it. Anyways, but yeah, for me, the energy that I get back from people that are present as part of that experience it's amazing. Yeah, I like, we record too, and that's fine. I don't dislike recording, but I just like performing because I like the energy that it brings for me personally and for the people that are part of that experience as well. Yeah.
We have 5 minutes or 4 minutes or so. You work at the library.
Yes.
You've been in this community for a long time, and you're also a performer. Talk about that, the piece that Selena talked about, performance, pleasure.
Okay. I think for me, I mean, some of us don't have a choice. We end up doing art even when we're trying not to. Like, it just keeps happening, and we're probably all in that camp. That some part of us just says this is important. You got to keep doing this thing. And I think that pleasure is like that. It's like a trailhead that says it's like beckoning. It's like, come down this way. There's something important this way, And sometimes it's like a tricky trailhead, right? You have to watch where pleasure is taking you. But I feel like one of the things that not that everything has to have a function, but one of the functions of pleasure to me is helping me understand what is worth fighting for and protecting and celebrating and living our lives in, and so when I follow the pleasure of art or performance down that trailhead, I'm always finding like the secret treasure of life there, and even when meaning's not clear, or it's not like a clear narrative, I'm still finding in there something ineffable that has this intrinsic value forever, and that seems to be, as far as I can tell, that secret treasure seems to be soulful and as such kind of in opposition to the crushing forces, that seem to try to crush the soulful out of our selves and out of our worlds that we're making. And I that's kind of simplistic, but I feel like that's where I find the resistance of it, how it's resistant, is that it's moving towards the soul. That's it. You got anything else to say on that score?
We're done, right? Are we done?
You can close us out.
Okay. Well, I'll just close us out by saying it was like such a pleasure to get to be in collaboration with these folks who I've been dancing with Holly for a really long time. You've been in dance films I made, and Emer too. We met through the work of Hannah Dennison. Megan and I were in a teen dance company, Street Teens, together in the 1980s. There's some good footage of us in these very archives doing our thing. Yeah, and then we had a splinter group of Street Teens that was Contrast, our youth-led thing. And so it's just like such a pleasure to get to play and be in deep community. And I think just to bring us back to, your final pitch. I think that's what CCTV is all about. It's like been that space for me for decades. And we should all support it and keep track of our history.
And say hi to Lori Colburn. I hope you're watching this, because we miss you in the neighborhood. But hearts out. Thanks, folks, for watching. Again, if you want to see more of the lineup, cctv.org/telethon is the full schedule for today. You can also come in to the studio, 294 North Winooski. And thank you, Amy and James and David, for joining us in the studio audience, and Ali behind the camera, and Travis, who's still running the show. And we're going to go, where are we going now, Travis? We're going to watch some clips. So thanks for watching, and hope you call us, 802-862-3966. Talk to you later.
Three
Bye.
times the number we expected. Do that without advertising. That's great.